First episode in my very first Be a GM mode for NHL 16. So we're going to be taking over for Jim Gordon, the new GM. I had to think about it for a minute. Don't have to say Glenn Sather anymore. But we'll be taking over for Gordon as the new GM for the New York Rangers. I went ahead and chose them for this GM mode simply because they are my NHL team. And I figured we could have some fun with it. I think they're a good team to start with. It may be, there's a couple scenarios we can go about through this experience. They're in a very small, rapidly closing Stanley Cup window. Henrik Lundqvist isn't getting any younger. He's still playing very well, but he's not getting any younger. So I think right now our goal is to try to win the Cup in the next 3 years. But then we have to look to the future as well. I do want to do this GM mode for at least 5 to 10 years. And honestly, once we get it started, I'll be able to show you guys. But the Rangers don't have the best prospect pool. We've traded away a lot of our first round picks, a lot of our prospects like Duclair, who's currently tearing it up with Arizona. But that's left us kind of weak for the future. So I think that this will be a pretty interesting GM mode. I don't know that it's one of the more popular ones right now. I know a lot of people are doing Edmonton for McDavid. I'm sure people are starting to do Buffalo now that Jack Eichel's finally in the game, but we're going to stick with the Rangers. So I went ahead and we're doing 25 years. I don't think we'll do the entire 25 years, but we'll go ahead and leave it there. Difficulty will be Superstar. Game style is going to be hardcore, 20-minute periods. Trade difficulty will be hard. I think that's the most realistic. And I like it because you can, have more trade value, but the computer will still turn it down simply because it's not something they want. So we're going to try to keep this as realistic as possible. I don't really want to, go ahead and trade like 12 first-round picks for Sid Crosby or something like that. I want to try to keep it realistic and try to win the Cup with the guys that we already have with only a few minor changes if possible. So once this loads up, I'll go ahead and show you all the rookies. I wanted to do this GM mode a little bit earlier, like right when the game came out, but a lot of our prospects weren't in the game. I know Brady Shea, they couldn't put in until he played a game. He's one of our more recent first-round picks. He is a defender. So I waited for the roster update, and there's no Brady Shea. So I went ahead and threw him in. I created my own Brady Shea. I created my own Pavel Buchnevich and Igor Sherstetkin. I can't pronounce it. I'll tell you guys in a minute. Sorry. I went ahead and created all three of those. I went ahead and moved Rick Nash back to left wing and made Zuccarello right wing. So for this video, we'll mainly just kind of go through our rosters. I'll show you the prospect pool. I'll show you the lines we're going to do. I don't know if we'll do a lot of simulating or any simulating in this video, but we'll go ahead and get everything started here. All right. So we'll go ahead and just look at the roster moves right now. So let's see, we'll go by forwards first. So right now up on the NHL team, we have Rick Nash, Chris Kreider, which are probably, these are going to be our first and second line left wingers. Derek Stepan and Derek Brassard, our first and second centers. Matt Zuccarello will be our first line right winger for right now. Kevin Hayes will likely be on the second line as well. So we have Jarrett Stoll, Dominic Moore, Victor Stahlberg. I kind of like these guys on the fourth line. I know it says they're third liners, but we can see what we can do with that. Then we have JT Miller, Emerson Edom, Oscar Lindberg, which looks like a pretty good third line, to be honest. And then we have Jesper Fast and Tanner Glass. I'm going to go ahead and move Tanner Glass down. He actually just was placed on waivers today, and we're not going to be using him. I'll tell you that right now. All right. So overall, pretty good forward. We could use a bona fide first line center, but right now I'm pretty happy with that. So anyway, on defense, we have Ryan McDonough, which is our top two. He is a top two defenseman. We have Mark Stahl, Dan Girardi, Keith Yandel, all 87, 86s. Kevin Klein, Dan Boyle, which will be our bottom pairing. And right now they have Dylan McElrath as the 7th overall, just the 7th defenseman. I'm okay with that for right now. He's a 74 overall, but that'll grow. And, you know, he has the potential to become a top 6 defenseman. So overall, our defensive core looks really good. I think Dan Girardi's a little higher rated than he likely deserves. My only complaint really is, and I'll show you guys when we go to edit lines, we have 2 left-handed defensemen on the top line. We have a right and a left right here on the second line. And then we have 2 righties on the bottom. So realistically, I'd like to do McDonough on the top line with either Girardi, Klein, or Boyle. Second line, Mark Stahl, and third line, Yandel, with the other 2 righties, but we'll see. Goaltender, we have Henrik Lundqvist, 93 overall. He's going to be good for probably 3 years, maybe 4 years, before he starts really declining. Right now he's only 33 years old. So yeah, we can expect at least 3 to 4 really, really solid years from him. And then our backup is Antti Ranta. Really, that's a perfect backup. We have him really cheap this year too. He'll want more next year, but I think for a backup, I think he's perfect. Alright, so now let's take a look at the AHL, and just in the system in general. So for goalies, we have Desjardins, which I think is 29 years old. We're not going to be playing him. We need to give our youngsters like Skapski, Hellberg, and Halverson time to grow. So we won't be using Desjardins. Excuse me, guys. But we will be using Skapsi and Hellberg for this year. Halverson in a couple years. Halverson should have potential to grow. He is a high backup, but I've seen him grow into an actual starter before. Alright, so let's take a look at the defensemen we have. We'll sort by overall first. We have Rafael Diaz. I may bring him up for the 7th defenseman overall, actually. That would give McElrath another year in the AHL to help him grow, and Diaz is a higher overall. I think his defensive categories are higher as well. We have Brady Shea. Like I said, I had to create Brady Shea. I've created him before in another mode, and I made him elite, and he shot up to an 89 overall by the time he was 23, so I tried to lower that a bit. I think that was a bit extreme. So we have Brady Shea, the 78 overall, 2-way defender, left-handed. This guy's going to be a stud for us in a couple years, which is great because Boyle and Yandel's contracts run out after the end of the year. Boyle will likely retire, and if he doesn't, we won't be re-signing him. So we'll have Brady Shea on the team next year, maybe even by trade deadline this year, depending on how things are going. So those are the 2 big ones right now. We have Chris Summers, Callie Anderson. Callie Anderson's potential is not very high, but his overall is a lot higher than what I'd really expect. So he could develop into something. We have Tommy Hughes, Matt Bodie, Ryan Graves, Samuel Nareau, Troy Donne, and that's it. There's a couple more that are unsigned. I'll show you them in a minute. So now we'll take a look here at the forwards. Right now, Tanner Glass is our highest rated in the AHL, but he's 31. He's a grinder. He can help those guys down there, help get some wins. He'll do pretty well in the AHL if we play him. We have Jason Megna, AHL top 6, Luke Adam, Lindblad, Tarnaski, another one of those older guys that will play if we need him, but I'd rather play our younger guys that can still grow. Marek Rivik, Ryan Bork. Tambellini has some potential to grow. We have Chris McCarthy, Nejleb. I've seen Nejleb grow. He's actually been in just a kind of trial run GM I did. He was actually one of the better guys. He was pretty consistent, and I kept him until he was about 32, so we'll see what he does. Really not a lot else right now. We do have Sorella, and this kid could grow into something big in the next couple of years. I'd say the timeline for him is probably not until he's about 23, so we have that to look forward to, but not, not anytime soon. So that's it right now. We'll go ahead and just hit best lines because we're going to edit that in a minute. But I wanted to pull up trade value to take a look at that and to show you Buchnevich and our Russian goaltender. So I'll go ahead and pull it all up. So we do have a little bit of trade value here between McDonough, Nash, and Kreider. I'm not really opposed to trading Nash in the next couple of years. He is 31. We have him for another, I think, 4 years? 3 years, okay. He's not going to decline in that time, but we can use him for those 3 years, and then his trade value is going to be a lot lower. I don't want to trade him right now because we are in a win-now mentality. Chris Kreider's contract's up at the end of the year. Definitely want to hang on to him. I think he's going to be a franchise player for us. He is 87 overall at 24 years old. We do have a couple of rookies here that look to be pretty promising. We have Ryan Gropp, who is a left-wing power forward. Give him a couple years. I'd say 4 years, around there, around the same time as Sorella. And then we have Pavel Buchnevich. Like I said, I created him myself. I actually did make him a top 9, but I guess because of his overall rating, he is a top 6 high. As you can see, though, his defensive stat especially and his physical categories are a little low. He's 20, he's 6'2", he's on the lighter side, which is why he decided to stay over in Russia for this season to get a little stronger. So again, the timeline for him is a couple years. So we do have a couple guys coming up, but overall, it could definitely be stronger. You know, we do have Dan Girardi, JT Miller, Brassard. These guys do have some decent trade value. Same with Sorella, but I'm not interested in trading any of these younger guys. And, you know, as we keep going down here, trade value gets a little less and less. Let's take a look at the goalie. So, Shesterkin. I did make him a low elite simply because I looked on Hockey Future, and he was rated an 8-point overall out of 10 with a D rating for probability of success. So I just kind of equated that to a low potential elite. I made him a hybrid goaltender. A lot of people have been comparing him to, you know, Dominik Hasek, which if he could grow into that would be great. But this guy's really our stud prospect for the future. Halverson does have, you know, potential, and so does Skapski, even Ronti. Ranta. Ranta's only 26, but I think Shesterkin's really the one that's going to take over for Hank in a couple of years. Again, he'll probably be about 4 years removed, but he may shoot up. It's hard to tell. As for draft picks, this year is going to be a tough one. We traded away our first round along with Anthony Duclair for Keith Yandel. So we don't have a first rounder this year. But after that, thankfully Sather's out of here and I'm in, so I will be taking over and I'll be hanging on to these first round picks. Might even try to get a couple, at least second or third round picks for this year. Alright, so now let's take a quick look at our lines. I'm going to go ahead and edit the lines myself here. Try to keep this part kind of quick because I know this isn't the most entertaining. And I want to keep them similar to what they are, you know, for the actual season right now. So, as of right now, we actually have Jesper Fast on the second line, which I'm not going to keep that. It works well in, you know, real life, but we're going to move Kevin Hayes up there. His role is the second line forward along with Brassard and Kreider. The only issue with this team is right here. Zuccarello's a second liner. Derek Stepan's a second liner. Rick Nash is our only bona fide first line forward. So that could be a problem. Moving forward, we'll stick with it right now, but moving forward, we may want to look for like a first line right winger to just kind of complement Rick Nash and Derek Stepan. But anyway, so our third line, we're gonna keep JT Miller there. I actually want to bring up Oscar Lindberg if he isn't already up here. I did make him a little better. I don't think I mentioned that. He was about a 77 overall. No, he is in the regular. Yep. I think he's scratched right now. Yep. I think he was a 77 overall, and I went ahead and moved him up to an 80 overall. You know, right now he's the leading scorer on our team. In 7 games, he has 4 goals and an assist, and you know, points aside, he's playing really well. He's defensively responsible. He's on our penalty kill and stuff, so we're going to go ahead and, you know, keep him up here. He is listed as a depth forward, but I'm going to keep him in that third line center spot. JT Miller, I think, will be really good with him. And we're going to move Stahlberg up with him. And we're going to keep Dominic Moore, Jarrett Stoll, and we're actually going to put Jesper Fast here. I think Emerson Edom has potential, but Jesper Fast is defensively a lot more responsible. And, you know, his offensive awareness is actually really good too, so I think he'll be a better fit for that fourth line. So this is what I want to do for those lines. Let's take a look at the defense. So obviously Ryan McDonough is going to stay on the first line, and for now I'm going to actually put Dan Girardi back up there simply because he is a right-handed defenseman. Second pairing I'm going to put, probably going to leave these actually. See, this is where things get tricky. I'm thinking maybe split up Yandel and Stahl like this. That way they both can have an offensive and defensive defenseman. Right, left, left. We might try that to start if we have a lot of problems. If I notice we're, you know, getting a lot of goals scored on us, or if, you know, this new morale system, if one of these guys has a problem with the, you know, the spot they're in, I'll go ahead and change that. But for now, we'll leave it at that. Alright, the power play. Well, now that I'm here, maybe we can make our power play a little bit better. That would be nice. So we're going to go ahead and put McDonough down there with Dan Boyle. Dan Boyle is a very good offensive defenseman in terms of puck movement. He has passings in 85. His offensive awareness is in 85. He has a good shot. We want to use him on the power play. Klein has a good shot, so I wouldn't be opposed to leaving him on the power play, but I kind of like having a guy on the point. I'd actually like to put JT Miller on the point and leave it like that. So we'll have Nash, Stepan, Zuccarello, and Miller with Yandel, and we'll have Brassard, Hayes, Kreider with McDonough and Boyle. The 4-man power play, I'll actually go ahead and leave Klein there. But not Mark Stahl. Mark Stahl will be on the penalty kill, though, because I don't want Dan Boyle on the penalty kill. So we'll keep Stepan and Nash and Brassard and Zuccarello. I like that. Now on the penalty kill, we'll have McDonough and Girardi, Stahl and Klein. That looks good to me. We're going to split up Stoll and Moore just because they're both really good at taking face-offs. With Stoll, we'll put Jesper Fast. And with Dominic Moore, I think we're going to put Oscar Lindberg, actually. You know, if I notice our penalty kill is not doing what it needs to, I'll go ahead and put some of the higher rated defensive categories on there. We'll throw in Derek Stepan, JT Miller, guys like that if we need to. But, you know, this is a good way to have some guys out there to get some time. These guys can get some experience and hopefully grow while letting our other guys get the rest they need. Alright, so extras I'm not going to really worry about. Goaltender, we have those. Scratched. These are our depth players. Alright, I want to switch McElrath and Diaz. So we'll go ahead. We'll get McElrath back down there. Like I said, I think another year in the AHL will actually help him out. He is listed as a top 4 defenseman in the AHL. So we'll go ahead and move him back down there. That way he can get a little more experience. We're going to go best lines for this. Hopefully that doesn't mess up everything I just did here. It did not. Good. Alright, so Tanner Glass isn't apparently happy to be on the AHL team. Or he's just motivated to show me that he deserves to be up here, so we'll see how he does. But, so let's see. So we have Shea and McElrath. Yep. Okay, good. Let's see. The minor top 4 defenseman. I'm going to give him time up here actually with Brady Shea. Those two can work together, and hopefully next year if we have to, you know, lose Yandel and we're losing Boyle, maybe these two can be a bottom 6 pairing. Alright, so let's see scratch, see if there's anybody we need to get in here. No, no, no. Maybe Ryan Graves, we'll see. Tambellini, Nejleb. Yeah, I would like to get those two in there as well. We can go ahead and switch these guys. They have lower potential, so I'd rather see guys that have higher potential be placed in there. And Nejleb, this guy's already 26, so they may not like being scratched, but that's why they are. Alright, so Bodie and Hughes. Yeah, Bodie's 25. I'm going to go ahead and put Ryan Graves in there. I mean, he's not much lower overall, and he is listed as a high 7th defenseman, so he could grow into something. Goaltenders, we have Skapski and Helberg. Perfect. Alright, so that looks like everything I want to do with the lines right now. We'll take a look at free agency, but I don't really want to sign anybody because, you know, I kind of want to just go through this year like it's already been set up. I don't think there will really be any big free agents anyway. Right, Glenn Cross, who actually just retired today. We have Cole, Gleason, Gotch, guys like that. So no, none of those guys. We can see if there's any rookie skaters or anything like that that might be worth picking up, but oh. Well, there's an elite defenseman. He's 73 overall at 25 years old, so I'm not going to pick him up. No, I'm actually not going to pick any of these guys up. I think that, right, for this year, I think a lot of these were probably cut simply because over full rosters from the roster update, not really removing players from teams when it should have. So I'm going to leave these guys and let the computers pick them up, make it a little harder on us. Nobody really there. Alright, so we'll go ahead and simulate through the preseason to see how the lines are doing. We'll take a look at their point totals, and that'll probably be the end of this video. Alright. So we'll go ahead and get our scouting out. We have two pretty good prospects in terms of defense, and we have a diamond in the rough in terms of goaltending prospects. So I think right now I want to focus on finding that all-star first-line center of the future. I know Buknovich and Sarella could potentially be that, but you know, there's a lot of there's worse problems you could have than having 2 or 3 really, really strong rookie centers that can be on your team here in a couple of years. So if we get another one, it won't be an issue. So it's looking like preseason. Oh wow. Preseason went really well for us. We went 6-1. One loss to the Devils. Overtime win against the Hurricanes. But other than that, it looks like really everything worked out really well. Though most goals we gave up were 3. We gave up 3 twice, but gave up 0, 1, 1, 3, 2, 3, 2. So defense and goaltending clearly not an issue there. So let's take a look and just see who produced. Zuccarello led us with 8 points in 6 games. 7 games, okay. So we had Zuccarello, Nash, and Stepan clearly clicking. Those guys are working well together. Let's see if they're, this is one of the new things in here is the morale and the chemistry. Apparently Zuccarello's chemistry is all with defensemen. Nash's is with the 4th line and defensemen. Alright. Okay, so Stepan has high locker room chemistry with Zuccarello, though. And those guys did really well. It's looking like our 4th line actually did really well, too, between Dominic Moore and Jarrett Stoll. Brassard had 4 points. Kreider had 2 goals and 1 assist in 7 games, so... One thing I've noticed is it doesn't seem like Kreider ever really seems to produce in this game, so... I don't know if that's just, you know, his role as a power forward, because his, you know, his shooting categories are really nice, really high 80s all around, so I'm not really sure what happens there, but maybe he'll do better this time. Dan Boyle, a -3, no points, and that is why we will not be re-signing him. Alright, so that's going to be where we'll leave off for this video. Feel free to leave any comments about potential line changes or anything like that. I think the next video will probably try to get at least 1 or 2 months of simulation done, kind of take a look at where we are, and see if we need to do any trades or anything like that. So stay tuned, and thanks everybody for watching.